What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Today we are coming at you with another premium KB, and today we are looking at the KB170B, also known as the Ishtar. So this is a max, and I'm going to mispronounce this, a max 2-check design. Very cool knife. Not exactly my cup of tea as far as an overall design aesthetic, but it is a very cool design nonetheless. One that I can respect, and then one that, again, as always, KB absolutely killed the execution on. So a few specs here. We're looking at M390 on this guy, 60 to 62 on the M390, 220 bones on this thing. They are available right now on KB's website. You can use code BE.EDC.NC and save 20% on that. So get this thing for under that $200 price point. Really, again, really well done knife. Action on it is phenomenal. And it's a pretty cool size. So the blade to handle ratio on this knife is actually really good, and it doesn't look like it's as good as it is, but we'll go over the specs here. You're looking at a 3.54-inch blade with a height here of right at 1 inch, so it's 0.98 on your height. And then thickness, we're looking at 3 millimeter thick, so 3.1 millimeters actually as I measured it, but I'm sure they'll say it's 3 mil thick. Handle length, you're looking at 4.33 inches, so not much of a discrepancy there between blade and handle. Which it's really well done there. Now your height on your handle is anywhere between 0.67 to 0.9, just depending on where you measure it at. And then same thing for your thickness. We're looking at 0.48 here on the normal side, and then with the clip 0.65. 7.87 inches overall, and the kicker here, 3.2 ounces. So almost an 8-inch knife at let's just might as well say 7.9 inches on your overall length, and only weighing 3.28 ounces. So a ridiculous weight on this thing, and that is, again, just due to how thin your handle is, your thinness on your blade and everything. The overall height of everything is done really well here. And so then, of course, having the speed holes, which is kind of my only real, or I guess I could say not my only, but my biggest real complaint on the design overall is the speed holes. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of the speed holes on a knife. I think this design without those would be a cleaner design. It would give it a little more of a better aesthetic, in my opinion. But it does, of course, save a ton of weight. So it is a double-edged sword there. So be interested to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below what y'all think on the speed holes on knives. I know it's kind of a polarizing thing. So let's go ahead and jump in to our close-ups on this thing. We'll take a look at it here up close and personal. So again, typical with KB, we have the KB logo there in the pivot, and then tons of milling on this knife. So no micro milling or anything like that, but your chamfering and stuff is all milled out, chamfering, and then no contouring or anything on the knife, and then all of your holes are chamfered as well. T8 hardware all the way around. We do have lanyard love, no lefty love to speak of. Full length backspacer, well, dang near a full length backspacer anyway, which is geared as well. So you've got a little bit of jimping there on that backspacer that does run all the way down. And here's where you can kind of see how that it's kind of throws you off a little bit on the blade to handle ratio, because it doesn't look like it would be that good, but because of how that tip comes up, you actually have to have that handle come up to cover that tip. So it makes the handle, it makes your mind kind of perceive the handle to be longer, when it's actually just the fact that the handle curves up and you get a much thicker part here of the handle. The handle height itself is much bigger, but the actual total length of the knife does kind of peter off there a little bit. Now, looking at your pocket clip, it's a single screw design pocket clip, so it's inset, and we do have a kind of more of a ball retention there, which it does work well. If you have a thicker material, it may be an issue going over that thicker material. Single cutout there on your lock bar, standard lock bar insert screwed in from the outside with over travel built in. There you can see the M390 branding. We have an elongated fuller/hole there, which does allow for multiple types of deployment with the reverse flick. You can get in there a couple of different ways. Taking a look at our tip. So the tip looks perfect, actually, and it is well centered, so no issues there. Lockup is spot on. Lock bar access is really nice, and we do have kind of a coin edge there on the lock bar, so it does give you the ability to get in there and get plenty of traction. No issues with the lock bar access whatsoever. Coming here, we do have almost a Persian-esque kind of blade. It's not a straight back because this tip does point up just a little bit, so I am going to call it maybe a trailing point or more of a Persian type blade. Almost a full height flat grind on this thing. So you can see there it does kind of stop about right there on your primary grind. Really, really good looking blade shape here. Like I said, it does have that kind of almost a Persian-esque kind of look to it. There you can see that teardrop opening again with your little bit of a fuller. Perfect jimping, just really stellar job on the jimping. Perfect plunge grind, can't get any better than that. I love what I'm seeing here from KB. Sharpening, it's KB knives. I mean, guys, y'all, I mean, these guys are just absolutely killing the game. It is a semi-polished factory edge, just a great job on that. Like I said, the tip was perfectly done, so no issues on the tip. There you have your branding that's on the knife, your M390 and your Max check. Again, I'm mispronouncing that, but really freaking cool. Love what, again, just absolutely love what KB is doing with their stuff here lately. Even the standard line, the Kubi line, is, again, it's as far as Chinese OEMs go, there's really no one that is in the same league, in my opinion. There's a lot of guys that are knocking on the door and that are right there at it, but as far as OEM work and as far as their fit and finish and everything, these guys are putting a lot of companies on notice and saying, you know, this is how a knife is supposed to be built. I mean, even guys like BE.EDC.NC and Riot, and I mean, I don't know, maybe it's blasphemous to put KB in the same realm as Riot or BE.EDC.NC, but I mean, I really do. I've handled a lot of their OEM work stuff. You know, they do a lot of stuff for Devo. You know, they've done a lot of stuff for other smaller companies, and I mean, their OEM stuff is ridiculously good. And so, I mean, it's definitely something to keep talking about. So now, as far as this knife is concerned, the overall design of the knife, again, there's some things I would change on it, but, you know, that's just personal preference. It is a great knife in hand. It feels better than you think it would, if that makes any sense to you. It is shaped well for the hand, so the way it fits the hand here, you've got that chamfering there that really does cradle your finger, and then you do have that curved handle, which does fit the hand really well, that natural curvature to your own hand. And then when you do have that knife in your standard grip, it does allow you to get that belly down for doing cuts. And then again, same thing when you do get it in that kind of utility cut grip, you do get that belly right there ready to do some work. Now, if you're wanting to get to the tip, you do have to really rake up because it is a trailing point. But as far as for actual slicing and things like that go, if you were to use a folder for processing meat or anything like that, this would work really well. The biggest kind of letdown you're going to have of that, number one, it's a bearing knife, so it will be one that you would have to clean quite frequently. And then the other part of it as well, you would need to make sure you know, that you're you know, not catching stuff on that that blade opening there. But again, as far as a knife that, you know, feels like it's going to put in some work, this certainly does feel that way. The flame tie does give it a nice texture as well. It's well finished, so it gives you plenty of tacky grip. The jimping is perfect. The only thing that would make the jimping better is if they had some out here towards the tip of the knife, but I'm not going to nitpick on that because everything else is just done so incredibly well. The pocket clip disappears in the hand. Excuse me, disappears in the hand. Really solid filling knife, and just enough hanging out there to where it makes you feel like you've got a secure grip on the knife. You're not falling off the edge, and you don't have 6 inches hanging out, at least for my size hands. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the hardware checks, and then we'll get the size comparisons out of the way, and then get y'all on with your day and on to the next video. As per usual, KB kills it with their tooling on their screws. And this one is going to be one that is going to be longer than most of the knives on the table here, but let's get it lined up with our grid line here. There we go. And start with the usual suspects. We've got the Penguin coming in just smaller. Same thing with the Pyrite. Going to be a little bit on the smaller side. We'll get it lined up with that pocket clip there. Got the drop bear dropping in. Militaw here should be pretty much the same size, right there at it. Not too much of a difference there. So if you like the size of the Militaw, you will like the size of the Ishtar. Get that lined up a little better. All right, now back to the smaller knives. We've got the Bel Air, which again is going to be, even with that elongated clip sticking out there, is going to be a shorter knife. Same thing with the Malibu here coming up. Again, just a smaller knife in general. More in that 7.5-ish inch range. Now for the bigger boys, we've got the PM2. And then the MS PSI. All right, well, there y'all have it. So again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I am always eager to hear what y'all think about a certain knife. There's certain folks I can always guarantee to to comment, and I look forward to hearing from those and responding to those comments as much as possible. Or actually, to every comment. I do respond to every single comment, which isn't hard when you don't get many comments. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. As always, please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Y'all take care.